let's figure out how we can try to avoid being ripped off when we buy something that doesn't run. Well, let me start with this motor right here. I bought this earlier this week. This is a 1969 Johnson 6 horsepower, 2-stroke, short shaft, outboard engine. I picked it up for my little 14-foot boat. I still don't know if this runs yet, but I have really good feeling about it because I made mistakes with the last old outboard I bought, which was an Evinrude 2. I think this is my 4th or 5th non-running outboard motor I've bought. And I've won some of those, and I've lost some of those battles. The biggest loser was the Evinrude 2, but I think all of the other ones, I think I won. I think I got them all running. When I bought my Evinrude 2, I was just eager and hungry to buy a little outboard motor for my 12-foot boat. There wasn't a lot out there, and I was looking, and that thing popped up, and I think it was $175. I can't remember for sure, but I have multiple videos about that motor. It didn't run. I put some money in it. I put some time into it. I kept on running into problems, and very quickly, I had more in that engine than it was worth to buy a running one. I was probably going to have almost $500 in that little 2-horsepower outboard. There's no way I would have been able to sell it for nearly that amount of money. So it was a loser. And part of the reason it was a loser is because I didn't follow these 5 points that I'm going to cover in this video of a checklist that I made to what to look for when you're buying a used outboard motor, even if you don't know anything about these or have much experience working on them. So number 1, when you go to buy the motor, take a look at it. Really take it in with your eyes. Look for what's missing, because missing parts can be big money. Sometimes the prop is missing. Sometimes the shift lever is missing, or the cowl, or the knobs and switches on the front. Some of those things are fine. You can easily find replacement pieces for those. Other ones might cost you quite a bit of money, especially with older motors. Sometimes these parts are hard to find used. All of this tells the story of the engine. So the second one is the general overall condition. My first Evinrude 6 horsepower that I had that was like this had a really worn cam, I think it is, inside, where the throttle control goes. And parts had been added to that and fixed and changed on that because it was really, really worn. This one looks like brand new. Was the lower leg all beat up and scratched up and dented? Is the prop all damaged? Are these things all loose, broken, cracked, or, bent up and beat up? Sometimes the general condition can mean it's led a hard life. Now with this one here, there were no missing parts, and the general condition was really great. The worst area probably is this cowl, and I think it's because it's kicked around in somebody's house or barn or garage or shed for a long time, and so stuff got scratched up or scuffed on it, because the rest of it is like a time capsule. It seems so new and in such good shape. For example, I have bolts on the lower leg that look like they've never been removed, which means the impeller's never been replaced, which could be good or bad, but they're not all worn out, rounded off, or broken or missing. We're also looking for leaks, damaged parts, broken parts. There's going to be a certain amount of that when you're buying an old, used, non-running engine, but some of it can really tell you what's going on, because if there's something leaking, like at a seam, that could mean where things have warped or gotten damaged and causing that leak, or seals have gone bad or whatever. This particular outboard had nothing leaking anywhere. Everything was clean and dry, even the seals that go behind the prop. There's nothing leaking there. I don't know if it has lower gear oil in it. I hope it does, and I hope it's in great shape. But there's nothing weeping or seeping out of anywhere down here. Number 4 is, can you get parts and help when you go to work on this outboard engine? With this particular one, I know I can. I've posted some short videos, and lots of people talk about how they've had these, and they know these, and they've worked on them. Somebody commented on one of my videos because they helped build these things and made parts for them in the 70s, which is really cool. I know that there are lots of used and aftermarket parts for these. I'm able to easily find an impeller or carb rebuild kit. It might not be an original Johnson Evinrude carb rebuild kit, but I can get one. So I can get parts for this. I can work on it. And there's a lot of people who've had these and have them that can be a resource when I'm working on this. But if I bought an early 60s 15 horsepower Chrysler, it might be a completely different story. Parts availability may be non-existent. Help might be very, very hard to find. And sometimes I'll go research that stuff before I go to look at an engine. I might find an outboard that's really cheap, and I'll find out that those models are hard to get parts for, or impossible to get parts for, or not worth fixing. Do that bit of background research as you're thinking about that. And then lastly, number 5 is the value. What is the value if it was running? So if you could get a non-running version for $220, like this one here, running one goes for $500, now you know you can sink $250 into this, and if it runs, you're going to be money ahead. No matter what, if you buy a non-running old outboard engine, you're always taking a chance and rolling the dice. The idea is to just reduce the amount of risk you're taking, because buying one that doesn't run can save you a lot of money. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I like taking the gamble because for me that's kind of part of the fun. Can I come in below market and end up with something that's really good? Even though that Evinrude 2 did not work out, it was kind of fun to play with. It was kind of frustrating, but I learned a lot from it. And ultimately, it's not like it cost me thousands of dollars. You know, I just was out a few $100s. And, you know, that's okay. Heck, it'd be out a few $100s, you know, betting on a sports game, I guess, right? Or, you know, buying a bunch of fishing lures. I don't know. There's other ways that you could be out a couple $100s. Let me know in the comments below any of your horror stories of buying a non-running outboard engine, or success stories of buying a non-running outboard engine. Thanks so much for watching. Here's another video. I think I'll put it right up here. Check out that one next. It's a good one. And, you know, stay safe out there in the water, and good luck with buying a non-running outboard motor. We'll see how this one turns out in another video.